Whalawhalahia tuhane e tau walatala tutupu ke lata me lau taongi we ke hao nei. Koe pungi nia whini ko tau sea e tau whawhirianga mi tua ke tau hokotaki mai he whahinga hua leo leo. Ko ki sea ke tau whakaluanga hopo koe tau hongo fulu e hokotaki ne kua tae whahinga hua. Koe laulohi ha koe tau whakatawhonu ke tau pelewafi. Ko whakaonga ko whakaholu whakahanoa nā kai katoa toi tau leisini mai whaluwena whoki. Toko tōlu e tangata ni kua hokotaki e ko mole tau mawhisi hi tau whakaholu ke pola tū. Ne whakamoli lautoli e lautolu ko holia e lautolu tau mata whakatawhonu ia. Ko tuku atua e ke tau komisina mai ke totongi e lautolu. Tōlungu fule tā rā ke lata mai tau hoi whakawhirianga. Tahe tangata whoki ni kua tūki moi whakawhirianga ha kua keli whakamahe ia taha tangata. Koe whakatokaanga ke tau mata whakatawhonu. Koe mai ke hokotaki nei. Ke tuku e tangata ke whalepui ke hoko atu ke tahe tau. Pese ia, kua whakamolia ia ke hokotaki nei, moe tuku atu e te iki whakapili, ke totongia ia tahe seo tā la. Koe taha tangata kua nākai hoko atu ia ke he hopohana ha kua nākai nofu ke he motu, ke lata moe hokotaki kua tā ha kua whakaonga ia pele wafi kua nākai laisini, koe whiwhirianga te komisina whakapili ke totongia ia limunga fule tā la. Moe lalawhia atu tong fuda la ke lata me te whakawhirianga. Toko whae tangata ni kua tae te hokotaki ki ai, ni kua toka halu tūra tau whakalanga ia, ke whakahoko la ke aho hongwhamaua i au kuso. Koe pungi nia whine ka whanatahe te whanau mai he maanga kutuapa ke whakamea e tau kauhala pola tū, ka mata me alofta ke lau ke hoko atu ki nā maui. Ko lau tūru nei, me tau matu whine mai tau whanau, Moe halu tūra tau whanau i lalo hefo, he hongwhuma whae e tau mui, kua kau whanataha ke whakalanga nei, ha koe manako ke whai whakaakuanga mai tau whanau, koe taha mena whoki ni talhau, he tahe tau matua, kua matao ke sene, kua whai mangaho he manako, ke kamate matangua nei, kai ki sielo tōru, kua tōlahi he longa tau vewe ke tau kalapuhala tū, moe nā kei mitaki kia noanua tiki ai. Ke mangaho ni kua usia o kua vewe halu tōru, kua whakapuke halu tōru, tōru ngufulu e tanga vewe. Wai tahana puhala nei, he talahau e ke langmatai, ke mea e motu mua atu ha kua whakapuloa i ke tu tangata e wewe ko niwe, koe motu fluola moe mea. Kai ke ononua tu ke tu wewe ni kua tolu he tu tangata, nā kai mitaki moe kua lata ni ke ingasia tu tangata, moe lali ke whakatumau, ke whakamea e motu, nā kai ni ke lata me tu tangata e wewe, kai pihia whoki ni ke lata me tu tangata ni kua nonofo hefo, he motu. Falafla here too. You're listening to Radio Sunshine's news bulletin for today. Local courts were in session yesterday with a total of 10 cases brought before the courts by the Niuean Police Department. The charges laid were mainly motor vehicle and driving violations, with one charge of assault as well as willful mischief charges presented. 3 individuals were charged with exceeding the speed limits. All pleaded guilty and were discharged without conviction, but were ordered to pay court costs of $30 each. One individual faced charges of assault that could have potentially received a penalty for imprisonment for a maximum of 1 year. However, the accused pleaded guilty and was convicted and fined $100. One person faced the charge of knowingly using an unlicensed motor vehicle. The accused was not present but convicted and fined $50 with an additional $30 towards court costs. 4 cases were adjourned until the next court sitting on the 12th of August. Youngsters from the village of Tuapa took the initiative to do their part in the campaign to keep Niuean clean. The early morning exercise held yesterday had children up to 14 years old collecting rubbish from the roadside, starting from Alofi North all the way to Ngāmaui. The idea to do this community service project started a few months ago and was influenced by what they described as a sorry sight, especially having to see rubbish alongside the roads as they drove past. According to one of the organisers, Mata Okisene, after spending most of the morning picking up rubbish, by the end of the cleanup they had filled up 30 rubbish bags. The activity was supervised by parents who wanted to impart a message for children to keep the island clean, especially if we're marketing Niue as a clean place to visitors. Keeping Niue clean and green should be the responsibility of the whole community. Looking at our news stories from the region, Pacific athletes have taken their place at the colourful opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow yesterday. Representatives from 13 Pacific nations paraded across the ground as Scottish Terriers trotting ahead of them. Lawn bowler Litia Tuguinsuva carried Fiji's flag into the stadium, an opportunity made possible after a Commonwealth ban on Fiji's participation in the Games was lifted. This is Fiji's first Commonwealth Games since Melbourne in 2006. Fiji was banned from the Commonwealth Games in 2009 after refusing free and fair elections. The ban was lifted in March, giving Fiji just 4 months to prepare for the Games. French Polynesia's President Gaston Floss has denied any wrongdoing after France's highest court rejected his appeal against last year's corruption conviction. In a statement, he says he takes note of the ruling and is awaiting official word that he has to withdraw from public office. The court in Paris upheld the sentence, which bans him from office for 3 years and includes a $170,000 fine. Floss had been found guilty of running a network of so-called phantom jobs within the presidency in the 1990s in what has been the biggest case of its kind in French legal history. He says there were no phantom jobs and all contracts were approved by successive French high commissioners. Floss says he will seek redress and take the case to the European Human Rights Court, accusing the French judiciary of violating his basic liberties. He says there is also a denial of democracy because the will of a majority expressed at last year's polls is being ridiculed by this court decision. The Cook Islands Chief Electoral Officer is defending her decision to accept postal votes from New Zealand, which arrived 2 days after the polls closed. The Democratic Party criticised the move, saying the votes were late and should not have been counted. An early count showed the Democratic Party had the lead, but hundreds of votes by declaration turned the outcome in favour of the Cook Islands Party, which eventually won a majority with 13 seats. The party says the postal votes contributed to its election defeat and it will challenge the results. But Chief Electoral Officer Tagi Tangimetua says although she was not notified of those votes until 2 days after the polls closed, they were received in time by a returning officer in Auckland, and she used her discretionary powers to accept them. Proposed One Fiji Party chairman and leader Filimoni Wasarongo says they are awaiting the official registration by the election supervisor so they could kickstart their campaign. Wasarongo, 38, says they're looking forward to introducing themselves and policy the proposed party stands for to the electorates. The opportunity, he says, also exists for other aspiring candidates of the proposed candidates who wish to take up the leadership role to work hard for it and earn it by appealing to the most number of voters as possible in the forthcoming election. In the meantime, Vosarongo said he was humbled to be chosen as the leader of the proposed party, which he acknowledges comes with much responsibility and expectation. Frozen fresh taro will soon be on the overseas market once the Scientific Research Organisation of Samoa has finalized its tasting trials. Once the tests are completed and decisions made on consumer preferences, then it is up to the commercial operators to process their own taro. SROS is hoping to have a trial tasting event in Australia soon. The Samoa Tasi and Samoa Lua are the results of years of tests since the taro was wiped out by the taro leaf blight in 1993 and wiping out a multi-million-dollar industry. The traditional markets such as New Zealand have since been dominated by the Fiji taro, which is the variety previously marketed out of Samoa before the blight. The new Samoan varieties are finding it very hard to re-enter the New Zealand market, which is still dominated by taro from Fiji and Samoans, the main buyers. This week's International AIDS Conference in Melbourne has heard the laws which criminalise homosexual sex are undermining efforts to prevent and treat HIV. Men having sex with men remains illegal in more than 1/3 of all Pacific countries and territories. Advocates argue such laws lead to discrimination and stigma against gay and transgender people and stops them from having HIV tests or treatment. They also want community attitudes to shift and point to Samoa's acceptance of the whawhawhine as an example. In Samoa, around 3,000 people identify as whawhawhine. They are neither male nor female, but a specific third gender. The whawhawhine are generally considered to be an important and long-standing part of Samoan culture. In March last year, Samoa's government repealed that law which made it an offence for a male to impersonate a female. but sex between men, regardless of consent, remains illegal. One of the countries accused of being most prohibitive is Papua New Guinea, where it's also illegal for men to have sex with men. There they face up to 14 years in jail if caught. The Special Coordinator for the Regional Assistance Mission to Solomon Islands says plans to rearm the country's police will involve the highest standards of training and oversight. Justine Brathwaite said during a ceremony in Honiara marking 11 years in the country. For the past year, Ramsey's focus has been on rebuilding the Royal Solomon Island Police Force. Brathwaite says a key aspect of this is limited rearmament of officers, which has been sanctioned by the Solomons Parliament. She says the Solomons government wanted some rearming because without guns, some key policing functions cannot be performed. She says the rearming project will involve rigorous assessment and training of officers, the development of policy, the building of armories, and consulting with communities. Peter Aoronisaka was removed last year when he was found to have been appointed despite being over the retirement age. And Sogavare says the new appointment consolidates the good work that Australia has done in securing law and order in Solomon Islands. He says it's felt that senior local police are still vulnerable to ethnic bias. And that is our local news bulletin here on Radio Sunshine for today.